Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So how many of y'all have some leftover lunch meat in your refrigerator? I have some leftover bologna, and y'all, I am not going to let this spoil. I'm not going to be able to eat it on enough sandwiches until I can eat it up before it goes bad, so I'm going to cook a nice dinner with it. So let me show you how to use up all of your old turkey, or sliced turkey, sliced chicken, sliced ham, sliced roast beef, whatever. You can make a nice roasted vegetable dish with it. So let's get busy. So I've already started prepping a few things so that y'all don't have to wait for so long for me to get everything ready. So I had some, this is like just the end of the week vegetables. I had a few carrots that I chunked them. Now you want to try to cut the vegetable chunks as near the same size as possible so that they'll roast evenly. Okay, so those are my carrots, and I have 5 little white russet potatoes. So let me see if I can chunk these a little bit. I've already peeled and washed them. For the vegetables that you wash, you want to wash them ahead of time so that they will have time to dry, and you don't want your veggies steaming. You want them to be as dry as possible. Now have the oven preheated to 450. We want a very hot oven, and you definitely want to use a metal pan, not a glass pan. Or you could even use a cast iron skillet. But I like for my vegetables to be almost burnt, so I'm going to put them on this cookie sheet so that they'll be spread out. And I realized that, you know, the lunch meat is going to be sliced thin, but I like my bologna nearly burnt, or burnt. I might as well just confess and say I like to eat it burnt. So if it gets a little crispy before the vegetables do, that's not going to bother me at all. Okay, so I have my 5 potatoes chunked up here, and I have a little bit of celery. I'm just going to put 1 stalk, and I'll just cut it into some about 1.5 inch strips. That's my celery. Then I have a half of a bell pepper, and normally I would cut it in strips. If I was going to be cooking this in the skillet where it would mostly be like a steamed vegetable meal, then I would cut it into strips. But I'm just going to chunk this so that it's about the same size as my carrots and potatoes. Now last night I was so hungry when I got home from babysitting. I cooked basically the same thing, but I did cook it on top of the stove in my cast iron skillet, and I threw in a can of string beans. The bologna did not get as crispy as I had wanted it to. Okay, so I'm just going to chunk up the onion. I think I will cut it this way, and then just going to do that with the onion. Cut it in half, and this way I'm going to cut it in half again, and just, there we go. That should do just fine. And then I've got a bag of Brussels sprouts in the freezer that is starting to get the frostbite on it. So I've let those thaw out, cut them in half, so we're going to add those. They will probably steam a little bit, so normally I would have put them out longer, but okay, so let me go ahead and chunk up this bologna. It's sliced really thin, and it has been so good all week on sandwiches. Look how thinly they sliced it. But I'm just going to chunk it. I'm going to leave the slices together, although they may come apart while it's grilling. I don't know. But I do want to use it. I just absolutely, I bet I've thrown away 100 pounds or more of old lunch meat that's gone bad before I could use it to make sandwiches out of, and I just don't like doing that. It's just not, I don't like to throw away food. It's too expensive and too necessary to live. You surely don't want to be putting it in the garbage. So I have enough, I could do another meal with the leftover bologna. So I'm just going to pile it up here and then just cut it in chunks, and we'll spread it out. And I think I'll cut it into, yeah, I'll just cut it into fourths. Like that, just 4/4. Okay, so I'm just going to use a little bit of the Tony Chasseries Creole seasoning. A little bit of heat in there. A little salt and pepper. Okay, and then we're just going to get this coated good. Just going to pour a little Crisco on it. You want to try to get your vegetables fully coated so that they will roast properly. This is a very delicious, cheap, and nutritious meal. Can't go wrong. Okay, so let me put just a tiny bit more. I'm not going to add any more salt because the Tony Chasseries has salt in it. Well, my kids used to try to add salt and pepper to their food before they ate it. No, don't do that. You got a taste of it first, but you know, people do that all the time. They just start, I've seen people do it in restaurants. They just pile on the salt and pepper before they even taste their food. You can always add more, but you can't remove it if you get too much. Okay, so let's go ahead and get this spread out as evenly as possible, or in one layer as nearly as possible. Oops, y'all can't see it. Get you. Okay, just gotta wait on the oven to beep, and this will be ready to go. And gosh, it shouldn't take it more than about 20 minutes. Okay, so they're going to go in the oven as soon as it beeps, and then we'll be back in about 20 minutes to check on them. Okay, so the timer's off. Let's check the vegetables. It's been 20 minutes at 450. Okay, so they look like they need to be flipped over. So let me take them out and do that. Okay, so I flipped everything over, and then I spread them out a little bit more, and I was trying to separate some more of the bologna because I want to make sure it kind of burns and gets crispy. See if I can separate it a little bit better. Maybe I shouldn't have cut it into those big, thick slices, but it's still going to be good, y'all. I ain't worried about it. Okay, so let me put it in. I'll check on it again in 20 more minutes. Okay, guys, so the timer for 20 minutes has gone off again. I can't find, I had bought some of these oven liners, and I cleaned my oven the other day, and then I forget what I was baking. I couldn't find my oven liner, so now my oven is dirty again. So I think that's what is smoking. So I know this is going to be very hot. Let me make sure I've got my... Well, they're not quite as toasted on top as I wanted them to be. I know they're done. They got to be done. I bet I probably should have cooked them on 475. Or I guess I could just put them under the broiler. I think that'll be easier. I'm always so terrified of doing that, y'all. 9 times out of 10, I'll forget and end up burning my food. But I do want them brown. Crispy. They look delicious. They were chirping like little birds. I guess a little bit of air was escaping through the hot potatoes. Okay, let me go ahead and dip them out and have my dinner. Okay, I'm gonna have to put the phone down. Y'all, I am famished. It's 3:30. I hadn't even had lunch yet, so I am starving. But this is my bologna and grilled vegetable dinner. It smells good. I just put a little fresh parsley on top. And look at these bologna ends. They are perfect. Bologna and a tater. I'm not going to leave the recipe at the bottom because if y'all want to follow it, just follow it as you watch the video, I reckon. You just more or less use whatever vegetables you have, like at the end of the week in the refrigerator. Throw it all together and take your old lunch meat before it goes bad. And I just threw in 4 or 5 little potatoes, a whole onion, a few little cloves of garlic, Brussels sprouts. 4 little carrots, they're nice and roasted. 1 celery stick. And a half of a bell pepper. But if you make this recipe, don't make it in a glass pan because the glass is not going to let them roast. You have to use the metal pan with that is about maybe 1 inch tall. You have to use a metal pan. I didn't spray it or anything. And it has to be a shallow metal pan. I cooked them on 450. You could even cook them on 500, whatever you want to. But I cooked them on 450 for 20 minutes on each side, but they weren't brown enough, so then I put them under the broiler for about a minute. Oh, it got dark. What happened? I gotta get in there and make me some tea. I don't like drinking Coke with my dinner. So y'all, please don't forget to give me a thumbs up and share my videos. And if you're just passing through and haven't subscribed yet, I would love for you to join my YouTube family. And y'all just keep on coming back. Bye, guys.